What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be talking about the common problems that are seen of Subaru WRXs in general. So first off, to get started, we have engine and oil problems, which I feel like are most likely seen within these cars. The first of which being oil leaks from the head gasket, the turbo. Sometimes it gets in the intercooler. Sometimes it just leaks out of the oil pan or something, all of the above. These cars are notorious for sometimes having oil leaks, especially with the age. As you get up in the years of them, they get oil leaks sometimes. Speaking of which, you can see my tiny little pile I'm leaving here. This car needs a new oil pan. It's been leaking a little bit, so I even have this experience myself. The next would be high oil consumption, falling under that same category, part of which comes from the turbo. So in turbocharged vehicles, sometimes they burn a little bit more oil because the turbocharger needs that oil and it burns off excess oil, which is why sometimes you have to watch out on your oil more often on turbocharged vehicles. And one that I'm sure anyone, even non-WRX owners, know about is head gasket failure. These cars are notorious across forums, between word of mouth, for having head gasket problems. You know, someone just joked about me a couple days ago at work, yo, you replaced the head gasket on that thing yet? You know, people love to joke about it, but it is true. Sometimes these cars do have head gasket problems. You got to make sure you watch it. Just with this engine, they have more problems with that part of the car, so it's something to keep in mind and make sure that you watch out for and do your proper maintenance for. I feel like this video is just turning into show and tell because the next one that we got is rust. Here you can see a spot right there where I got some rust. I have different various spots all across the front of this car, but because of the bad paint on these cars, they do have rust problems. This one's a little bit more tucked away, but as you can see, a lot of rust. So because of the bad paint, it can get to the surface metal a lot just whenever you get like different scratches and things. And mine being a 2002 probably has more than the average vehicle, but it's notorious for all WRX models to have bad paint. So whenever this paint chips away, you can see that it adds various rust marks. I'm sure a lot of people have rust underneath too, which this car surprisingly doesn't have that much rust underneath. I don't know if they didn't drive it in the wintertime that much or something, because it does snow here a lot in PA, but there's not that much rust underneath, mostly just the paint. The next would be up pipe heat. So that up pipe heat, if you're running a catted up pipe, a lot of times, sometimes that cat, whenever it starts going bad, can get sucked up into the turbo, and then you lose your turbocharger too, which these cars have some problems with. I know I've seen some things on forums, different videos of people saying you should run a catless one, so that way, worst case scenario, if it ever goes out, you don't suck a cat up into your turbo and blow that too. Mine is catted because I think I saw that it adds more reliability, but in the event that it goes out, my turbo is going with it. I've also noticed on my car, at least, that the up pipe heat can burn through the gasket. So I've had to replace the gasket on this thing once, and I think I'm gonna have to do it again. It's usually like a yearly maintenance thing for me. I don't know if it means that there's a bigger problem on this car or what, but I've had to replace the gasket once. It's really not that hard to do. It's just 2 bolts. You crawl underneath the car and you undo 2 bolts down there. But I've noticed that from the up pipe heat, I've had to replace that gasket, and I can kind of tell when it's starting to go out because it makes a weird noise and the car starts backfiring a lot more than normal. The next thing would be a weak 5-speed transmission. Something that you get with the WRX is a 5-speed transmission. The STI gets a 6-speed transmission, and the WRX transmission is known to handle less power and also have a little bit more problems than the 6-speed would, which I feel like you can kind of assume because the STI is meant to push more power, so you would think the 5-speed would be less reliable because it's not meant for a car of that high caliber horsepower. But still, I know some people blow up the transmissions in these. Mine's been pretty good to me so far, even with the 2002 model being known to have a glass transmission because it's so bad. But I know this can give people some problems as well. Thankfully, I have not had any problems with wheel bearings so far. No squeaking, no rubbing, nothing like that. But that is another problem that can happen on these cars, is wheel bearing failure. I don't know what it is, but these cars go through wheel bearings a lot quicker than some other brands. Something that you have to look out for whenever buying these cars, and another common problem that is exhibited among Subaru WRXs. Next up is turbo issues. I know at least on my car, whenever I bought it, it had a boost leak, so that's how I got such a good deal on it. So I had to go through all the piping, make sure it was all tight and everything, which is not entirely a big turbo problem, but being an older car and having so much piping for it can lead to boost leaks. If you've seen some of my old videos, you know that the tube that goes to my boost gauge comes loose a lot. So far it's been pretty good, but that was another problem that I had a boost leak with. Some people go through turbos in this car, whether it's because of oiling, overuse, etc. Turbo issues are a problem with this car, which I feel like sometimes can be seen with any turbocharged model of a car. You lose some reliability in adding boost to the equation. And the last thing that I would say is probably just people not tuning these cars correctly. A lot of people like to run off-the-shelf tunes. I am someone who has fallen victim to this. I'm still waiting to get a pro tune sometime because I am running the Cobb Stage 2 tune. It's not the best for this car. As you can tell, it's not running all Cobb parts. So this tune is not the best for it. Even if you're running all parts that are for the tune, sometimes it's better to get a pro tune because each car runs differently. It's made on an assembly line, but sometimes every single part isn't made exactly the same. There are differences in manufacturing and different things like that. So it's better to get the tune that's perfect for your car instead of just a general tune, because this can lead to different problems that could have been avoided if you just spent the extra money now, got a pro tune that was meant for exactly your car with the exact parts you have on it. So that way it runs perfectly. So I feel like it's not a crazy amount of things that you can see as common problems on the WRX. I know some of them can be scary. I know that I was scared. First purchasing a WRX, I thought I was going to have to throw a lot of money into it, baby it, and make sure that the engine didn't blow or something, because I know different people have problems with blown motors and turbos going out and a bunch of different problems like that. So I wanted to baby this car at first because I was like, we're not going to do anything to even risk something going wrong because I don't got the funds for that. But over time, I kind of grew to learn the car, know the different things about it, and be able to have fun with it while also not risking something going wrong. I hope this didn't turn anybody off of buying a Subaru WRX. If anything, I hope it just informed you about what you're in for if you purchase one. And I hope to see you join the family sometime soon. But that's all I got for you guys today. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to subscribe. You guys always impress me. Every single video I post, I get more subscribers. You guys like the video. Just so much interaction on the videos. I can't believe that you guys actually do. But thank you so much for that. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.